Okay, we'll see how well the sound does on this. The lighting is not that great, but anyway, I just had a couple updates before I get started with the Flosstube. Um, so, Annabella's retreat is happening this weekend, and it should be still happening. Um, and there is a way to get there going through Gatlinburg. You can't take the interstates, from what I've been told. I coincidentally happened to be on a Zoom stitch tonight with a different stitcher from North Carolina, so I put her in touch with Meredith, and Duke Energy is the energy company that handles the outage areas in North Carolina, which I'm going to show a picture of in my video. And they have a lot of customers, since 3 million people in Florida are out of electricity. So after Milton. Anyway, I think that's the last the information I had about that. And so anyway, the rest of it as was current as of yesterday. It is now the 10th, and I'm going to put this together and maybe get it posted maybe by midnight tonight, otherwise on Friday. Thank you very much. Okay, this is Robin the Generous Stitcher, and I have changed modalities here, and I have to stare like right at the camera, because if I stare at the phone, then I'm like not staring. I'm like look like I have lazy eye or something. So anyway, so this is going to be a short video. I filmed 3 videos with my phone last night. The camera setup I have on my computer is just like too low, like low quality. So the light was going in and out very unpredictably. And so I actually have like a light from my bedroom. Our chandelier up there is like going dim. It's the lights, it's maybe on its last legs. So yeah, so I have a cross stitch light. I have the chandelier, which is barely on, and I have another light to the side. And part of the thing they were saying online with the camera setup I had is that if you had light behind me, which I frequently do because I have western exposure window, that causes the light to go in and out. But even when it's dark and I have the blinds closed with the lighter blinds, it still is a mess. And so I just got too frustrated with it. And tonight, you can see from the title of my Flosstube, I've got some really important things to talk about. And of course, we know tonight it's Wednesday, and Hurricane Milton, is it Milton? That is hitting Florida probably soon, if not already. I mean, it's already spawned tornadoes, and there's been rain. So anyway, I want to thank you all for joining me and listening, and subscribe or leave comments, please. There are some things I'm going to talk about that you might want to be leaving a comment or two about. So first, I'm going to do my curated cross-stitch collection, because it's not very much so far this month. It is October 9th, which is not my usual day. It was last night, but those videos didn't work because you have to have the camera in like a different orientation, or my editing software doesn't want to import the videos. So that was a learning lesson. And so let me get into the curated cross-stitch collection. Like I say, it's not very much. I did buy some flosses at the end of last month from Acorns and Threads, because we have a coupon book system, and floss thread was like the coupon special. So I bought a bunch of DMC, I bought a bunch of Classic Color Works and Weeks Dye Works, and I'm not going to show that. I've kind of already proportioned it out to the different projects. But I did pick up a Plum Street sampler. This is Live on Little, and so I found that I can kind of like do a little bit so I'm not hiding my face so much when I'm showing a pattern, and that's not too glary. So Live on Little, I was going to see if it had the date, the published date on it here. I'm not seeing it, but anyway, it's been out a while. You know, I'm not a big sampler person, but I loved the house, you know, the blue stone or brick, and I love the whales and the ship and the ocean, and so and the, you know, the border's lovely too. So, you know, this is one of those probably put in the retirement pile, because I probably won't get to it for a long time. But I saw it with Carol at Saltbox Stitcher. This is something that she has that I think she's either stitched or she's stitching now. And so that's where I saw it from. And my thoughts are with Carol right now. You know, she's in Jacksonville, which is out of the pathway, but still lots of other bad weather happening there. And then I went on 1-2-3 Stitch, because there were a couple patterns that I had, one of which I'd seen but I hadn't bought. So at Pinwis, one of my dear friends was stitching this Black and Jack, which is a Teresa Kogut, and I loved it, and I wanted to get it, but they'd sold out at Acorns and Threads, so I went to 1-2-3 Stitch. Shh, don't tell Janine. Anyway, she had stitched this and then made it into a little stuffed animal thing, which was just adorable. So this, I was trying to see if this has the, no, it does, yes. So it does have that. Okay, sorry, I was getting distracted by the flosses. That it uses charcoal, which is, I'll be showing a piece with the charcoal Weeks Dye Works floss in a minute. But I had to get I looked on the list of the flosses I needed to get this month. I had put down 4 times Blackbird, which is Classic Colorworks, and they didn't have any at the store. And I also needed Black Licorice, which was, I think, a Gentle Arts. Didn't have that at the store. I didn't get that. I'll just wait till it comes in a few weeks, which they come in really regularly. But I did buy a couple Blackbird skeins from 1-2-3 Stitch, because I knew that there were things I wanted to get closer to starting. So, and then I had seen, I think, on Just Keep Stitching, but I don't remember. But possibly. This looks like something Pam would do, and I just loved it. It's stranded jacks, and so all these little jack-o'-lanterns are stranded somewhere, like, you know, like being not exactly swallowed by, but taken away by Moby Dick. And actually, that's not Moby Dick, because it's black. But anyway, so it's Halloween, it's pumpkins, I love pumpkins, and yeah. So that was another one I was like, okay, that is not in Acorns and Threads in the shop, so I'm gonna just get it. And so I am trying to do a chart fast, so I don't want to get charts between now and Nashville, because you know, we got Christmas shopping to do, which I need to get started this month. I like to get stuff all bought before November, so then I don't have to shop the rest of the holidays. I can just sort of sit back and enjoy the holidays, or I can bake, or I can, you know, eat food with family and friends, and, you know, and watch Christmas movies, you know, so that's kind of, and not have to worry about it. And I let my husband and my brother-in-law worry about last minute shopping. Anyway, so that's it for Curated Cross Stitch Collection. Next, I'm going to get into the serious portion of this program. So, you know, North America has been hit. the southeastern United States has been hit now with 2 hurricanes within, within 2 weeks. And North Carolina in particular and eastern Tennessee were really hard hit. North Carolina in the western section of the state, which is very mountainous, a lot of rural area, they had rain for 3 days before the hurricane made landfall in Florida, and they were already at flood stages in some of their rivers. And so lots of flooding, lots of landslides, sides of mountains coming down with mudslides, lots of debris, houses, pushed off their foundation by the floodwater or pushed off the foundation and then floating downstream. There were some whole towns that had like mud, rivers and not really mudslides, but the mud and the river and the debris just come through and scour out. I'm sure a lot of you have seen online the pictures of the interstates that are just like chunks of interstate are gone. They were showing a lot of videos of roads that were now rivers that didn't even look like it had ever been a road. So a lot of transportation infrastructure damage, a lot of power outages, and I'm going to show in a couple minutes, I'm going to show on the screen when I finish editing this video, I'm going to show the power outages for North Carolina as of tonight, which hasn't really changed too much. I think last night when I prepared that figure for my video, they had showed a few more power outages to the south, but those seem to be resolved now. It's just more in the western part of the state. And so in North Carolina, there are 3 local needle shops, and they are all in that area where that was hit, or fairly close to it. So there's Annabella's, that's in Waynesville. They have an October retreat scheduled. I do not know if it's happening. They did not get a lot of flooding there. They might have power outages. And I am not representing any shops. I do not have direct knowledge. I am relaying what I have heard from a stitcher in North Carolina. And I guess before I get into the shop update, which she gave me, I should talk about the title of my Flosstube. And I was thinking about titling it North Carolina Cross Stitch Christmas Care Package, because last week on Tuesday, I went to my normal first of the month Zoom. In fact, I blew off my book club and went to the Zoom stitch first because I really wanted to stitch. And so first off, this North Carolina stitcher was talking about what was going on and what an idea she had to what's the best word, to spread some goodwill and cheer and compassion to stitchers in North Carolina that may have lost their stash, their home, their stitched works. So she had this idea that in a few months, right now everybody is just trying to survive and get power reestablished, get clean water reestablished, get some lines of transportation, if not reestablished because places are so damaged, at least to have the mule train come through, which literally is happening in some of these mountain communities. So she was saying I really envision, and I'm kind of quoting her or paraphrasing her. Her name is Meredith, and she lives in the Winston-Salem area of North Carolina, and I'm in the Salem area stitchers, which is Salem, Oregon, our capital in Oregon. So please don't get too confused. I'm just going to mention Meredith's location the one time. Her county is about 2 counties over from the section of western North Carolina that had the serious flooding and the devastation. other parts of North Carolina were not impacted to the extent. And so, and that area of North Carolina that had been acted, that's the Appalachian area, and also Eastern Tennessee, which is the Appalachian area. We have like the Appalachian Trail that runs through there that people through hike. And I actually saw some YouTube videos about the impact of that and some of the places where hikers stay, like hostels and things, and some of them were flooded or severely damaged. Some were still taking hikers in from the trail if they survived being camping in the middle of the storm and the flooding and the mudslides. So anyway, Meredith had this idea that she would create these care packages, and nothing really big or elaborate, but have needle, scissors, maybe some fabric, a kitted up pattern with floss, and then and also asking other stitchers to make a Christmas ornament, something that they can put on their tree for this first Christmas after the hurricane, after things have changed so dramatically for so many people, and to give people some joy, and also for the therapeutic nature of being able to do crafting and do needlework. And so she doesn't want to immediately bombard people with stuff, but she says in a month or two, getting close to Christmas, this is when she's going to try to do this. She's going to coordinate with the local needle shops in North Carolina. And I know that I immediately said, hey, I got like about 140, 150 gold eye needles in bulk. Plus I got some beading needles too, that I bought for retreat gifts. And I can just send that to you now, And I've also got like some scissors, I've got some fabric, I've got stuff. Okay. I destashed in August, but the Salem Mary Stitchers are really generous friends. And I have a lot of generous friends at Pinwis, because I've made so many contacts over the last year. And so I came home with a bunch of swag. I had a bunch of swag from, classes I'd gone to this summer with private retreats that the Salem Mary Stitchers did. So I have all this notions and stuff that, I can kind of use some of it, but a lot of it would just sit in the drawer. So I have another plastic bin that's full up of stuff that I'm going to send to Meredith in North Carolina. And Meredith and I have talked about this, and she knows I'm going to talk about this idea on this channel. And she and I agreed that we didn't want her name to go out, her contact details to go out on Flosstube, on the internet. Just because, trolls, bad actors, they're out there. So we wanted to have me be a one conduit for contacting her. And so if you want to participate and join in and contact her and see what you can do, and I might put some charity links down below in my description too. I'm not going to talk about them. I know of a couple local charities from that region that are very busy and they could use cash. But so if you want to help, if you want to get involved, participate, leave me a comment, or better yet, email my Jen Stitch R Gmail account. So it's GEN Stitch, the letter R, at gmail.com. That is my cross stitch YouTube specific email. And so, like I say, if you want to get involved, just send me an email, and then I can send you Meredith's contact information. And so she did give me some information about the local needle shops in North Carolina. Like I mentioned, Annabella's is in Waynesville. They did not have flooding there, but they may have some power outages. I don't know about the water quality in that town, but they were planning an October retreat. I do not know if that is still happening. So I would reach out to them directly. Sassy Jacks in Weaverville, that's close to Asheville. They were planning a class in November. Again, I do not know what is going on, if they can actually do that. Sassy Jacks in Weaverville is reasonably close to Asheville. Some of the Salem Mary Stitchers are actually customers of theirs and have been there to classes themselves. And so we know that there was some flood. There was a lot of flooding in Asheville. The Swananoa River had a flood that beat the record that was set in 1791. You know, this being one of the original colonies, they did have records that went back that far. So the river there was like several feet above that original bad flood that they had in 1791. So there has been some flooding in the area, and there will be power outages in that area, like I'm going to show on the screen. And then there's finally Sandy's Cross Stitch on the Go. That's in Hendersonville. Hendersonville was heavily hit. They had extreme flooding, and we don't know the condition of Sandy's at this point. Sandy's has a website. There's not any information on the website, but they do have a phone number you could try. And because we know Hendersonville was completely flooded. Hendersonville also has a really good website, a really good organization for their local community, which is in Henderson County. And they're saying at this point that 92% of the people have safe drinking water. About another 8% have low water pressure and may need to boil their water, or they don't have any water. And the power is sort of out in spots, I think. The traffic lights are still out throughout Henderson County and in Hendersonville. And so if you are traveling through the area, be careful if you can even get to the area. I'm not clear about that. I just know that people locally in the town are given some cautions about the traffic lights. They have said on their website that they don't have garbage pickup now, but they are working on getting that. And they want people to put their garbage out in garbage bags only, no grocery bags. And they anticipate that as they are able to resume garbage pickup, they will pick up what you put out. And don't worry about putting extra bags out. And right now they can't support recycling. So that's what I know about the infrastructure of Hendersonville as of last night and tonight. And I will show, there was a FEMA flyer on their website that you could look at that talked about if you had debris from the storm, how to sort it, because there might be concrete blocks, there might be like vegetative stuff like tree limbs, and there might be other types of debris or large appliances that have been damaged. So there was a FEMA flyer, which I will also put up on the screen, that shows how to sort that, and you can look that up on their website or on the FEMA website, which maybe I should put a link for that too. So that's what I know about North Carolina. I was really happy to think of a way that I can help, and of having some resources of stash. I was like, okay, great. Because the white dresser gets full, and then I think, how can I make it not as full? So anyway, I'm looking at my pad I have down here. And so I did these 3 videos like separately because my phone, the storage of my phone was a little too small, like non-existent. So I had to do some, do some stuff there. So anyway, the next thing I want to show is whips. So when I was talking about, and it might be a little bit disjointed, because I had things sort of in a particular order, and now I kind of don't. So give me a second here to pull some stuff, and I think Willow is happy. Maybe she might be in my chair, I hope. She wanted to get held tonight, so that's why I feel like I'm doing this super late at night. So when Meredith mentioned about Christmas, I got out my Christmas patterns, which I have in a what is that bag called? So Much to Love. Those bags, those beautiful project bags that come with a little felt heart that my cats want to eat. So I have to keep them hidden or in the white dresser. And so I dug that out and I thought, oh, and I also had recently purchased this Tiny Modernist Cardinal Biscornu, and I thought, well, that's kind of small. So, what do I have here? And, so I pulled out, this is some Atomic Ranch Destiny, which is a white with sort of a brown modeling, sort of really light. And I thought, well, this is a good neutral that I could do this Biscornu on, because the Biscornu that they have modeled in this is sort of on a super neutral that I don't really like that color, but I thought, okay, that could work. Well, then I'm looking at the Lugana and it's 28 count. And that would mean that this Biscornu would be like 4.6 inches by 4.6 inches. So it'd be pretty good sized. It's not something necessarily you might want to hang from a Christmas tree. When I lived in Southeast Texas, in Houston and College Station, one of the Christmas trees that was really common and a lot of people bought, because I think it was probably one of the cheaper varieties available, was like a Georgia pine, and it had really long needles. If you think of cousin It from the Addams Family, which was that guy with all the hair, that's what the trees look like, except they're green. Okay, they have these long needles, and so it's not like they don't have branches. They do, but the branches are just kind of like, they're not like stiff like a noble fir, or even a Douglas fir, they're not so stiff. So anyway, I forget where I was going with that thought, but anyway, so I thought I want to make this smaller. So what do I have in my stash? And I'd already pulled out a piece of fabric that I'm going to donate, which is like a lilac color, because I can't at this time imagine what I'm going to stitch on it. And it's been in my stash a while, so it's like, okay, I haven't thought of any good ideas yet. But this was, I have a piece of Zweigart Lugana Murano, which is 32 count, so it would only be 4.1 inches square, or roughly square with a Biscornu. And it's white opalescent. And so I took it out and promptly get the tag from the fabric stuck around my counting pen. And so I started stitching this on my Zoom stitch on Saturday, first of the month. It's a private Zoom stitch. And also some of the people there are with the Mountain Stitchers. That's another stitching group that's in Clackamas County in Oregon on the eastern side of the Portland metro area, sort of on the foothills of the Cascades. Some of the people there might also be helping out with this project with Meredith. And so, but they're all super, they crochet, they knit, they needlepoint, they cross stitch. They are like super experienced in needle crafting. And so I was like, well, I want to start this biscornu. Well, of course, I never did one before, so I started doing my border, and they were like, oh, Robin, stop. Do the pattern, do the cardinals first, and then then make up the boundary around it, because this is like 60 some, it's 65 by 65. Okay, so I have to count 65 little stitches across. Yeah, that with my eyesight, that wasn't working really well. So I started doing the greenery with the red berries, and the cardinal will go up here, and then another one will be over here, and another one will be there. So there'll be 4 cardinals. And then on the bottom of this, which I don't have a picture of this biscornu bottom, it is a square that has those Christmas balls, the Christmas ornaments that are like balls, in 4 corners, and then it's has these green and red greenery with the berries, intertwined with the Christmas balls. So that's what this looked like. This is a rather big project, so I worked on it Saturday, and I thought, yeah, I don't know if this is such a good thing for smaller Christmas ornaments that I might get done in time to share. And so I got out the Christmas, my Christmas So Much to Love Christmas bag, and it is these cats wearing Christmas sweaters. I think they might even have little hats. And I have like the blue flower. This is a Christmas ornament. It's, a pillow. And I thought, yeah, this is 54 by 62. I got this last year, and I was thinking, oh, I'm going to make it look like Max. And I got all this, I kitted it up when I bought it. So that was an idea, and I could always do it on some piece of fabric. I could even do it on the piece of fabric I'm going to show you in a minute. So I got last year the blue flower 12 Cats of Christmas. And, it was one of those situations. I came in the shop around Christmas time, and this had just come out, and I'd made a purchase, and then I went back to the register and I bought something else. And finally, I'm headed to the door. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get out without spending more money. I already spent a bunch. And Janine says, oh, Robin, did you see this? And I'm like, darn it. Like I can't say no to the 12 Cats of Christmas, okay? Just no, that is not a hard pass. It is a must buy, okay? And so I tried last night, and these just look more blurry the closer I get to the camera. And so I started this one, and it is 21, I think, by 50. And then this one is a little bit wider, but I think it's not much taller. And so I'm going to start that one too. So then I should get these 2 ornaments, or these 2 pieces that can be made into ornaments, done and sent off. And so this was stitched on 40 count blue steel for linen from XG Design. Now, I had never heard of them, and actually I believe this last Sunday, Just Keep Stitching mentioned them, and mentioned that some of their stuff had come into keepsakes. So if you're in the Ohio area, you know where to go for that. But I'd never heard of them. I certainly didn't have any in my stash. So I went shopping in my stash, and I had bought some things sort of like, well, this is so pretty, and it's kind of my idea of a neutral, so maybe I should buy it, because gosh, I might be able, I'm sure I can use it someday. So I'm trying to look for the the tag. Oh, here it is. Okay, it's right on the front. So this is Belfast linen, which is Zweigart, and it's 32 count. And this was actually a question that it came up on my Saturday Zoom, because I've been stitching so many years, but I never had stitching friends, and I never experimented with fabrics. And sorry about that, I am messing with my tripod. No cats involved. Unlike last night when Willow was going around and around the tripod and not jiggling anything. And she's so tiny, she was below the camera. So she is not doing that tonight. So anyway, so this is Vintage Blue Whisper. And so it is a streaky light blue, sort of with sort of white and blue streaks. So I thought it was a great substitute for starting this. And I did half of the border, and then I did, this is actually stitched prim with 1/2. And you can't see it very well, but the first paw that I did here is white, like Max. Because he's got his little tuxedo gloves and his white cravat, and then some white on his belly, and and his white boots. But he's if he lays in a certain way, you'd think he was a solid black cat. So anyway, and I'm using a gold needle that I got that's marketed by Treehouse Fiber Arts, and this little needle minder I got from Caterpillar Cross Stitch in England, which had been sitting in my stash for the last year plus, and thought, hey, it's a Christmas thing, I'll take it out and use it. So I thought I was going to get further, but I would have been stitching tonight, but I had to redo the videos. So so that's my progress on the Christmas care package. Now I will show my regular whips, if I can figure out where they are. And I think they're like right there. Okay. So I have not been stitching very much on the Totoro wall hanging piece. And I will show it because I have made some progress, but a lot of times it just the lighting has not been good, especially since these like one of those bulbs is basically out, and then another one just next to it decides it wants to be out tonight. It's actually behaving itself. Last night everything was going dark, so it's hard to stitch when there's not light, especially on black even weave, which is, I think, 32 count. So when I have not felt like, let me turn this right side up, when I've not felt like straining my eyes, I've been doing prim on this Winter's Blessing, Winter Blessings. I always mix up the S's on that one. And that is Plum Street Samplers. And and I have this nice little needle minder I got from a friend at Pinwis, and I'm using the gold needle on it because these gold needles are a little bit. This is a 28 tapestry needle, and oops, I want to make sure it stays on there. And so it slides in nice on these smaller even weave and linen. So so I wasn't sure I liked them, but for some of these things that I'm doing on even weave and linen, I do like them. I do like how they feel. They don't feel as nice on Ada, at least in my experience. So, all right, and then final. Oops, I don't have any progress to show on House Without a Cat, although I had some last time to show. That was my Rest the Eye piece last for the, the last end of September. So here is the Totoro piece, and I've worked on finishing the purple part of where the light's hitting the umbrella, and then this is where the shade is. The umbrella is a blue color on this back end that's shaded, and then you can see those are the two big Totoro's ears, the tips of them that are shaded underneath the umbrella. So that's as far as I've got on that, and I will try to, see if I can, so this is My Neighbor Totoro, which is a PDF piece, and so like I'm saying, I started sort of at the middle, and the umbrella, and so I'm trying to fill in and work one direction and work down. So that should be all of my whips. I'm going to put this back in the project bag because I just do not like to leave things around that tempt the kitties, and I'm going to have to spend a bit of time cleaning things up here. Okay, there it goes. So I had everything a little bit organized, although I had to make some lunges last night. So just to give you an idea of my stats for September. September I had 2 finishes, no starts, 19 days of stitching, 6 of which were social. We did cancel a few Sailor Mary stitching sessions because we were busy preparing for Pinwis, or people were traveling out of town. And and I did my 2 floss tubes on the 10th and the 23rd. And so October, I have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've only had 6 stitch days out of 9. That sounded better last night when I had 6 stitch days out of 8. And it's getting late, so I'm not going to stitch tonight. And so far I've had 3 stitch social days, and then 1 more for this week. And so far this month in October, I've had 2 starts. I don't believe I'm going to get any finishes done, although possibly I'll get one of the ornaments done. Possibly. I think I will, because it's small enough, and I have enough stitch days planned this month. So anyway, thank you very much, and please be in touch. Give me an email if you want to help out with the cross stitch idea. So yeah, and be safe. The rest of us that haven't been hit by hurricanes, we are thinking about you and praying for you, and want things to work out, and be safe. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Good night.